Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kathleen Darby and I'm here to help you to create all the things. So I've had my Wacom Cintiq Pro for about 2 months now, and I did an unboxing video and I wanted to share all the things that I've learned. So the things I wanted to go over specifically today were the screen, the touch surface, the stand and the angle, the keyboard function on it, the parallax and the lag, the pressure sensitivity, and the wobbly lines that everyone has been talking about. Here we go. A little disclaimer before we get started. I am in no way sponsored by Wacom, and that the opinions I express in this video are entirely my own. Alright, so I'm going to try to test out the wobbly lines and see if I'm going to get any issues. I'm going to start out with some straight up and down lines. Get a little bit thinner here. Alright, now let's try some diagonal lines. Now you can see there is a little bit of wobbliness in the tablet right here. So I don't think I'm actually being that wobbly when it comes to these diagonal lines, especially when you're drawing a little bit slower. It seems that it wobbles. I can even see it wobbling while I'm drawing a straight line. It's actually quite strange. Open up your Wacom Desktop Center app that comes with installing the tablet and update your device. The wobbly lines should be much less of an issue. To prove that the wobbly line issue is mostly fixed, I wanted to just show you what it looks like now on the same tablet, my same pen, my same brush, same me, and just what it kind of looks like here. Oh yeah, look how much cleaner those are. Now the problem I really had before was the diagonal line. Go a little bit slower here. There is still a slight wiggle, but for the most part it is fixed, especially if you're doing those nice, quick, confident lines. So there you go, just go update your drivers and everything should be good to go. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the pressure sensitivity of it. I believe that the Wacom Cintiq Pro has 8,192 pressure sensitivity levels, which is more than I feel like most people can fathom, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of a demonstration just to kind of show you how that looks, I guess, in real time. Okay, now let's see how the pressure sensitivity is. I'm just going to bump up my brush size just a little bit here and start to go from kind of thin up to pressing pretty hard. I find it much harder to go from a thick line to a thin line, but it's a lot easier for me to go from a thin line to a thicker line, just kind of taking that small amount of pressure and then building on it instead of building on the heaviest amount of pressure that you can to make it thinner. I think is a little bit harder. I think the exception comes when you're talking about kind of doing more gestural lines. Another thing I'm really liking about the pressure sensitivity is that I don't need to change my brush size a whole lot to get the same effect that I'm going for. So with the right amount of control, you can really, not have to always go back in and say, oh, I want this size brush or this size brush. It really does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And I wanted to go ahead and show you something that I've done while using the tablet this last couple of months. It's a illustration of a University of Oregon campus building. While I was drawing this, I did experience quite a bit of lag, and I think that's mostly because my computer is quite old, as well as this document is very large. It's about 42 inches wide, and I was also using a lot of watercolor textures. So here's that watercolor textured layer. I'll just go in here and just kind of show you a little bit about how the lag was. So I'm just gonna change the color just so you can kind of see what's going on. So as you can see here, the brush is taking quite a long time to fill in the area, and I think most of that has to do with all of the different layers that I have going on here and how detailed the brush is. But for the most part, it's not that bad when you're just inking things and if you're filling in spaces with other ways, like the paint bucket and such. So I'm really liking the feel of the texture of the screen. It has an etched glass, which is really nice to give it more of a paper texture. Adobe does offer 95% RGB color for it, so it's a fairly accurate color system, but there is actually a color converter that you can buy in addition to the tablet that'll help all your colors turn out well, especially if you're working with print media. And I've included a link down in the description for where to get that color converter. Also, something that I've noticed is that because I have a Thunderbolt display and my laptop is my actual computer that everything's running off of, is that it's best to plug the Wacom Cintiq Pro Thunderbolt display into the first Thunderbolt cable, and then have my Thunderbolt display itself plugged into the second Thunderbolt plug in my MacBook. That actually allows it so that I can have all three screens lit and active at the same time. Otherwise, it actually doesn't work, and the tablet will not turn on if those two are switched for some reason. So that's kind of interesting. I do not currently have 4K because for some reason the cable that is provided by Wacom does not yield a 4K resolution. You can check that when you first turn on your Wacom Cintiq in the upper right-hand corner. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the touch surface. I actually don't use the touch surface too much because sometimes it gets in the way, or I accidentally touch something that I'm drawing and erase something, and it's kind of annoying. But it's easy to just turn that off with the button over here. So it's really not a problem. I do want to do a finger painting video eventually, so that'll be kind of fun to play more with the touch screen surface. There's something else that I found out with using the Wacom Cintiq Pro is that the screen has kind of a surface that when you're working on it for a long time, like your hand might become a little bit sweaty. And so a lot of the time it kind of drags across the screen and I'm not able to draw how I'm wanting to. So something that I picked up recently is a hand sleeve. And you can get these on Amazon. I've included a link in the description as well. And so what these do basically is you fit them on, And then that side of your hand that you're touching the screen surface with is no longer rubbing, so that you can like quickly move across the surface and there's no friction going on. So I've actually been using this every time I've been drawing since I've gotten them. I think they're really amazing. And I saw that Jazza was using one too, so I went ahead and got one of those. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the stand and the angle. The tablet itself has a 5-degree tilt, so that even when it doesn't have its stand up, it's still 5 degrees tilted towards your face, which is actually a really nice function. And then in the back, you can also open up the little stands, and I've been using those all the time just because I don't want to bend over my work too much. But what I found with working with the Wacom Cintiq Pro for a long period of time is that I'd rather it be at a more direct angle closer to my face, so it's actually not angled enough for me and how I want my workflow to do. So what I've ended up doing is I lower my chair a lot when I'm working on it, just to have that angle, as well as I've been putting the box that it came in underneath the stand just to give it a little bit more of a vertical angle, and that's actually worked perfectly for me. I'm hoping that there's a new stand that will come out eventually that kind of helps that. I've actually thought about even getting maybe an easel thing or something to kind of lay it on top of. There are a lot of desktop mount arms out there for the tablets, but I haven't been able to find one that specifically works for the Cintiq Pro. The back of the Cintiq doesn't have any screw mounts like other displays, and I'm not sure the best way to go about making it fit into a flexible desktop mount arm. If you guys have any solutions for getting a desktop mount arm that's flexible for the Wacom Cintiq Pro, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to share that with everyone else if someone has a solution for it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the keyboard function on the screen. The touch screen keyboard that comes with the Cintiq is not my favorite. It's cool to have a touchpad on your screen directly, but it's not as responsive as I'd like it to be. There is a solution, however, that eliminates some of this awkwardness, which is Wacom's Express Key Remote. The Express Key Remote is not included when you buy the Wacom Cintiq, and it'll run you $100 for each remote. That's right, each remote. Wacom suggests that you would buy one for each program and application that you regularly use, so that you can program the keys accordingly. As long as you have a solution for where you're going to put your keyboard, I think it's still a great device. All in all, I think that this tablet is an excellent companion to all my other digital devices, and it's quite an upgrade compared to my old bamboo tablet, and I'm just really enjoying everything about it, except for some of the lagging. Otherwise, I think it's a fantastic tool. It's Wacom's most updated tool, and I wanted to buy something that would last me for 3+ years and not be outdated. That's the main reason that I got the tablet in the first place. So get one if you think that it's, you know, the tablet for you. I've included a link in the description, of course, of where you can get that. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Links are in the description. And I've also started a Patreon channel, and it would mean the world to me if you guys started helping me out so I can do this full time. I would love to do YouTube and reviews and just doing art for commissions and people the entire time. So if you're a fan of my videos, I know that I'm new to YouTube, it would just mean a lot if you guys either shared this video or became a patron of mine. So that being said, thank you for tuning into my channel. My name is Kathleen Darby, helping you to create all the things, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.